This is Nick with Build Brothers Roofing. Started my digital inspection at 776 Iron Horse Place out here in Chula Vista. We are on top of a flat concrete tile roof. There are a few slip tiles, broken tiles that I slid down. I want to show the homeowner what the condition of the underlayment is, and also just the amount of damage that's been done from those slip tiles. But I want to point a few other things out first. You can see all these mortar caps are starting to go. This stuff is starting to crumble at this point. This is going to allow water to get into all these joints. What we don't want is for that water to start getting underneath the valley metal, because once that starts to occur, the leaks start to accumulate pretty quickly. You can see the majority of the sealant around all the penetrations has started to deplete. Essentially what's happening is the oils in this material have really just kind of started to evaporate. This happens over time. All these penetrations could use a fresh coat of sealant, but you can see how water and moisture will be coming down these pipes every time it rains. Good thing about this roof though is that these valleys are nice and open. I really like to see that. What that allows to happen is for water to flow freely whenever it rains, and then it allows for debris not to get caught in the valley, because a lot of times when these valleys are too tight, these tiles are butting up against each other, then stuff can get stuck in the valley, and that'll cause water to divert into areas of the roof that it's not supposed to go. So that is a good sign. You can see there's a piece of broken tile that's over there right now, but it's not doing anything. Water's gonna flow right around it. I wanna go ahead and point out some of these slip tiles, just to show the homeowner where these leaks are coming from. You can see this tile has been broken for quite some time. You can also see the amount of water damage that started to occur, all the water marks that are coming down here. This underlayment's been exposed and it's starting to crumble at this point on my fingertips. So repair would be needed in this section. Over here on this portion of the roof, we got a few leaks. We got a leak coming from this section of the roof and then another leak coming from that section. But as I'm walking around, I noticed some other slip tiles, which shows me that there are leaks coming from other areas of the roof that we're just not aware of. Again, so this tile was cracked. It was starting to slide. I slid it down even more, and you can see all the water damage that's occurred over the years from allowing water to get underneath it. So there's definitely a leak coming from this section. A lot of this underlayment has deteriorated because of the fact that it's been exposed to the element. So I would recommend a repair in this section of the roof. And then we have a couple leaks coming from this section. Again, more broken tiles, and you can see these leaks are pretty bad. You can see the amount of water damage that's occurred underneath these tiles. Water's been pouring up or ponding underneath this section because it really has nowhere to go. It just gets stuck behind this tile whenever it rains, and that water is always going to find its way into the property. Again, same thing over here. You can see how much water's been pouring in whenever it rains. We have another slip tile on this section, and then another area over here where it's been leaking as well. You can see how damaged that underlayment is. It just stays really moist. It's really crumbly. Any kind of fresh underlayment is going to be very thick, very coarse, very granular to the touch. This underlayment is none of that right now, just because it's been exposed for quite some time. We have another leak coming from this area of the roof. Now, this part gets a little bit tricky. The only area of the roof that I believe water could be coming in is right through this O'Hagan vent. Water might be being pushed underneath it. That's not super typical, but as far as what I'm looking at, you know, without pulling a bunch of tiles up, that's really the only explanation for the leak that's coming from this area. The only other way for us to determine, you know, where this leak is coming from on this section is to start pulling these tiles up, and then at that point we can address, you know, where that intrusion is coming from. But based off of my inspection, you know, the roof it's about 20 years old or so. The tile's in great shape. The rest of the underlayment is going to be in pretty good shape as well. We could definitely use some work around all these mortar caps. Again, all this mortar is really kind of starting to crumble at this point. Some of it is still in good shape. The other portions of it are not. So having a roof tune-up done on these sections where we kind of just go ahead and reseal the penetrations, make sure that the mortar is good to go, would be very beneficial to this property. Now, as far as this section goes, just based off the amount of slip tiles and the amount of damage that's already been done, I would recommend redoing this section of the roof. Reason being is no matter what, when we go ahead and do a repair, we're gonna have to take it all the way from the bottom of the roof up to the ridge. So we're doing this whole section to begin with. You have this section that needs to be done, this section and that section as well. At that point, you have the whole roof plane. So we might as well just take care of the whole thing. And then this section as well, where water is getting into the property. Again, the homeowner might not be aware of the fact that it is already leaking because it might not be showing its face in that drywall. But ideally, you want to fix that before the drywall and the interior of the home starts to get damaged. So again, in my professional opinion, you know, other than the areas where we already have active leaks, the rest of this roof is in pretty good shape. Tile's in good shape. It's only going to get stronger as it ages. I am going to recommend repairing this roof plane along with this entire roof plane as well. Then my guys can go ahead and check on this back section to figure out where this other leak is coming from. That's it for my inspection.